We're live. Hey, welcome. It is Friday night, and you know what that means? That's right. We're back. It is Friday night with beef, and we're here with Colorado Beef Council tonight. We've got a beef enchilada soup that I'm pretty excited about. So if you are just joining us, hello, welcome. Be sure to give a shout out. Tell us where you are at, and then definitely let us know. Make sure the audio is working. Want to make sure everything is great and set. Do we have anybody on? All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. And then we are going to have an absolute blast because we've got soup going tonight. So we're pretty excited about soup. Welcome. Make sure you say hi. Let us know you can hear us. Want to make sure the audio is fantastic. Give us a thumbs up and then also give a shout out. Tell us where you're watching us from. That would be amazing as well. We are here in our studio. We actually have a little shooting studio now here in Denver. So we're pretty excited about that. Lets us do all the fun cooking things without, airplanes, dogs barking, neighbors, cars, all that good stuff. So thank you for joining us. I'm Chef Jason, and thanks to our friends at Colorado Beef Council for having us live tonight. Who do we need to say hi to?
We got Rusty and Tammy looks like she's excited for some soup.
I love it. Yeah, Tammy and I were talking about the soup earlier in the week. Give me a thumbs up too, Tammy, and let us know you can hear us okay. We've got new and improved microphones for today and for always, so we're pretty excited.
Deborah and Leanne just joined us.
Deborah and Leanne, love it. Hey, and we got new guy Adam behind the camera. So Annie is taking a hiatus. She worked hard for us last year doing all the good stuff. We have Adam hanging out there. Adam is the newest addition to our 5280 culinary family. So he's going to be moderating all your questions, comments tonight. So make sure you bring those up and let us know what we can do to be helpful and make sure get you taken care of.
I hope we get some good questions.
I hope we get good questions, right? Anybody telling us where they're watching from?
Not yet. Wes just joined us.
I love it. Hi, Wes.
Says sounds great.
Sounds great. Awesome. I love it. All right. So welcome. Hey, it is Friday night, and that means one thing, Friday night with beef. That's right. We're back. Super excited, and thanks to our friends at Colorado Beef Council for having us back to do more of these. I mean, obviously, we've done a good job because they asked us to come back. So we've got a lot of cool things coming up with Friday night with beef. We're going to do some just recipe ones. We're also going to do some interactions where we have some Q&As with ranchers and producers, which is awesome to have them in just to talk about the wonderful world of beef. And as always, a big, huge thank you to our ranchers and producers. We appreciate you putting that amazing protein, that Colorado beef, on our plates, in our fridges, in our bellies as well. And then don't forget, you can head over to cobeef.com, Colorado Beef Council website. Under the cooking tab, you're going to find a link to all the recipes we've done last year, this year, and more. But most importantly, you're going to find a beef map that's going to let you in on a beef locator map so you can find out where to purchase that amazing Colorado beef. And I'll tell you what, I'm friends with a couple ranchers, right? And we do a pretty amazing job of Colorado beef. So, hey, come on in here. Adam, zoom it in.
Hey, Donna, Chef Jason says he misses you too.
Who's that, Donna Grayerbill?
Yeah.
Donna, I think, is watching from Michigan. Very cool. All right, check it out. Adam's going to come and zoom in. This is our recipe tonight, you guys. Beef enchilada soup. We're here in Colorado. The weather changed like in the same day, right? It went from warm in the morning to ice cold at night.
That's what they say.
We are in soup mode. We've done a lot of cool soups today, and we're excited about this one. Let's talk a little bit about ingredients tonight. We're starting off with ground beef. Now, I am using an 80-20 because I like a little bit more fat feel. I like a little more flavor. You could definitely use 93.7 if you wanted to lean this up a little bit. And then let's head over here. We've got some beef stock. One of my favorite ingredients ever. These are fire roasted tomatoes. They come in a can, very beautiful, very, very wonderful. Those are going to start us off with a lot of flavor. We've got a couple things of taco seasoning. Great thing about this, you guys, you can do a low sodium. You can do the regular one. You can do a chipotle one. You can really adjust that taco seasoning to be whatever you want. Pick your favorite. Hey, enchilada sauce. Totally your normal red enchilada sauce. Super awesome. We have some roasted green chilies.
Oh, those are my favorite. Green
and these are,
chilies.
I got to be honest, we made this recipe already today because Adam and I were hungry. We needed lunch. These were hot, little hot, right? So you can use mild, hot, whatever you want. We've got some corn, some canned corn, some kidney beans, and some black beans. That's going to do a great job. Now, here's the deal. Today, we are cooking in our Dutch oven on the burner. The nice thing about this recipe is actually designed to be kind of a slow cooker recipe. So if you want, put it in your slow cooker. You could set it on high if you want it to slow cook a little faster. You could put it on low if you want it to be the normal slow cooker that takes all day long. This will make your house smell fantastic. But tonight, we're adapting it kind of to be a little bit faster for us, right? So we're using the Dutch oven tonight just to get things sped up. And then because we don't want to make you wait for the whole hour while it simmers, by the power of TV, we already have a batch done. And ready? See that, right? And that's our sample batch for later. So let's go ahead and get this fired up here quick. Hey, any questions before we get started? Anybody have anything burning that you need to know about? Want to know about?
Not yet, but I think there's some in there somewhere.
All right, they got 'em
Maybe
in there somewhere.
Donna's back.
One of the things we talked about, Adam, come in on that beef. One of the things we talked about on this ground beef too, substitutions if you don't want to use ground beef. Let's say you had leftover brisket. Oh man, this would be a fantastic soup with some leftover brisket. You could do stew meat if you wanted to make it a little heartier, thicker, a little bit more texture. Ground beef, like I said, you can use 80-20, you can use 93-7. A lot of different options here. If you have leftover steak, you could chop up steak, make a hearty steak chili as well. But don't forget, you can grab today's recipe, go to cobeef.com, and you can head on the recipes tab, click that, grab today's recipe and more.
Donna wants to know if you went to Michigan this summer, and did you have a good time?
Donna, I did go to Michigan. I was in Hastings, Michigan. Where else was I? I was in Hastings, I was in Grand Ledge, and I was in Byron Center. So I had a beautiful trip. Man, Michigan in the summertime is no joke. It is. Where were you?
I was in Glen Arbor, Michigan last year at this time. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah, Michigan in the summer, it was beautiful. A little hot and muggy, but you know what? It's hot and muggy no matter where you go. But had a blast in Michigan, that is for sure. All right, so we're heating up our Dutch oven here. We want to heat it up over medium-high heat. And we're using induction tonight just to get things going a little bit faster, but you want to get that heated up over medium-high heat.
Can you use hominy instead of corn?
You could use hominy instead of corn. Yeah, I'll tell you what, hominy is so beautiful. It has such a nice crunch and a texture to it. We actually cooked some hominy off this week here in our pressure cooker. So you could definitely use canned hominy, white or yellow. Could cook it yourself. Yeah, check this out. Let me show my hominy. Look at this, you guys. We actually got hominy, bought some hominy dry, but look at how big it is. And then when you cook it, it plumps up. It's absolutely, yeah, for size, right?
Big guy, little guy.
So it plumps up really nice. Hominy's a great addition as well. The beauty of this chili, I'll tell you, it's a fantastic recipe, and it adapts wonderful to really anything you want to do, whether it's slow cooker, whether it's Dutch oven or not.
Oh, the
sizzle, right? The sizzle, that's part of the beauty of this. Hey, just a reminder too, when you're cooking ground beef, you want to make sure you cook this to about 160, 165 degrees. Just make sure it's fully cooked. And sometimes color will not necessarily reflect its doneness. So use your thermometer if you have one, a great instant read digital thermometer, just to double check this. You want to make sure it's done before you add everything else in there. But
Michael says it's always nice for the cook to have a nice glass of bourbon alongside next.
Is that Mike DeBello?
Yes.
Hey, Mike, nice to see you, sir. Yeah, bourbon would be good. I actually have a shaker, a bottle of hydration water, right? My liquid IV. So I love that hydration water, so I like to keep that here. But we'll go ahead and just I just go through here while it's cooking and just chop this up just a little bit, kind of help it along its way. But go through and give it a scrape on the bottom. I'll tell you, if you get little crispy beef on the bottom, that makes the chili even better, right?
Pig's Eye Barbecue loves the sizzle.
Hey, good to see Al. Good to see everyone. Yeah, beef sizzle is absolutely amazing. I love it.
We got the smell here in the studio, Pig's Eye, which you got the sizzle and the smell.
We said today we needed
smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision. Whoever comes up with that on the phone would be just like make $1 gajillion.
I'd buy some stock.
I'd like it to be us, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to keep cooking this. Let it do its thing. We'll chop it up as it goes. And again, it's very simple ingredients today. Like I said, on that taco seasoning.
Yeah, we went to the store today, and I didn't realize there's so many varieties of taco seasoning.
I mean, it was amazing. We both, Adam commented first, like, what about this one? What about that one? And yeah, I mean, you're so used to grabbing that one pack that you normally use, but we saw Chipotle, we saw mild, we saw hot, extra hot.
Low sodium.
I think there was a hot sauce one, low sodium. So yeah, talk about a versatile recipe. This is great. Now, and the cool thing on this too, it cools nicely. You've got probably a 2-day shelf life after you've eaten it. But guess what? If you're going out hunting, camping, fishing, anything, throw this in an insulated mug, take it with you, and you're in a good place. Throw it in an insulated thermos or whatever.
Breakfast on the go.
Yeah, I mean, breakfast. I'm not going to lie that I've never had chili for breakfast, but all right, keep sauteing this here. And that was 2 pounds of ground beef. This is 80/20 that I'm using.
Yep, and we're just using regular taco seasoning today.
Is that what somebody asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went with what the recipe called for, just kind of the regular taco seasoning, just to get the party started.
So
but
no salt too. It's just right? No salt. So
no what?
Salt.
No salt. And you know, it's interesting. You've got salt in your enchilada sauce, right? You've obviously got a lot of seasoning in that taco seasoning. You've got some salt in your tomatoes. You're going to have a little bit of salt and flavoring in your beef stock. You'll have a little bit of salt in those vegetables. So we're not adding any salt and pepper to it. And we tasted it late after we made it today, just to make sure it didn't need anything. And that's really the nice thing of it. You've got enough flavor to do its thing.
What if you didn't have taco seasoning? What could we use?
You could use a Cajun seasoning, a Cajun rub, if you want to use a Cajun rub. You could use an all-purpose seasoning. Let's say you have one of those all-purpose seasonings in your fridge. That would work out fantastic as well. Really, like I said, it's totally adaptable. The recipe is enchilada soup, right? So we're trying to give it that kind of enchilada flair, if you will. But you could turn it into a barbecue kind of flavor and do things that way. But
Donna, I agree with you. I love green chilies, and that's why I moved to Colorado, is to be out here near.
Just for the green chili?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's not a bad reason.
Mountains and green chili and Colorado beef.
All right, so look at this, right? You can see the color is starting. We've got pink, we've got gray. Definitely want to go through and just make sure it's fully cooked. Yes, I absolutely understand that we're going to be adding all the other ingredients and letting it simmer for an hour, but occasionally if you get a clump of ground beef, it may not cook the same as everything else. So I like to make sure it's fully cooked before I add the rest of those ingredients. And the absolutely cool thing, this is like the perfect one pot, right? The recipe initially said use it in the slow cooker, which means cook the beef, add everything else, put the lid on, set it, and let it go all day long.
That means
we're doing it in the Dutch oven.
Less dishes, too.
A lot less dishes, right? So we'll get this finished up here. Bring on those questions, you guys. We haven't seen you in a while, so you've got to have some questions. Coming up in November, next month's Friday with Beef, we're going to be talking about beef tenderloin, getting you in the mood for the holidays, and just go through a real simple way to trim it. We want to make sure we show you how to save a little bit of money and trim some beef tenderloin, and then we're going to head out to the grill and show you how to sear it off, how to remove it, how to maybe cook direct or indirect. But at the end of the day, we get to eat beef tenderloin next month, we're excited.
Luke just joined us. I'm curious, except for Michigan, I'm not sure where everybody's from. So if you want to shout out where you guys are from.
Give us a shout out. Tell us where you are from. All right, here we go. We are cooked. Let me grab my thermometer. Like I said, we want to just double check and make sure.
How many servings will this recipe make?
Someone asked that?
Yeah.
That is a really good question. It says 8 servings on the recipe. I'm telling you, depending how hungry you are, I mean, it could be 6.
So, Jason, I just got a little nervous. My mother down in Florida just joined us.
Your mom just signed on?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Adam. Hi, Mrs. Adam. Good to see you. All right, you guys, we are fully cooked. Now, like I said, this is literally add everything to the pot, and we'll get it stirred up and simmer. So we added the beef stock. We're going to add those beautiful fire-roasted tomatoes. And I love that fire-roasted. I'm so glad they used them in this recipe. They're just so hearty. They have a great flavor, and roasting them makes them taste a little less acidic, like tomatoes sometimes taste. So we added the black beans. We added the kidney beans. We're going to add our corn, our sweet corn. Can't forget Adam's favorite. We got those roasted chilies.
Yum.
We're going to add our red enchilada sauce.
Pig's Eye Barbecue in Minnesota says they can't wait for the beef tenderloin.
Yeah, beef tenderloin is going to be a blast. All right, we add our taco seasoning. Get that in here. And then the goal, we're going to mix this up. The goal is going to be to keep this at a simmer, and we're just going to let it simmer for about an hour. And I said this earlier when we actually made a cooking video of this today for the Colorado Beef Council's YouTube channel. And as I said, if you want your soup thinner, don't cook it as long. If you want your soup thicker, cook it longer and let it reduce down a little bit. They call that viscosity. So the viscosity of your soup is up to you. I don't know. I like a thinner soup maybe. Or
what's the difference between, or why would you use stock instead of a broth?
So I like stock because it's usually made with vegetables. It tends to be a little heartier in flavor. You can totally use broth as well. Broth is kind of maybe a second washing or a second cooking of the bones to make stock. So stock tends to be heartier, stronger, more flavorful. Broth tends to be kind of an essence of beef and maybe not as hearty and strong. You had 2 questions? Or you had another one?
We had a Dallas-Fort Worth join us, too.
Nice. So. Who's in Dallas?
I think it was Mike.
Mike? All right. All right, you guys. So look at that. Like I said, we're going for an hour. We're going to bring it to a simmer and let that go for 1 hour of cook time. But through the power of TV, right? The magic of the internet, we're going to bring this guy back on and reheat that slowly. But look at that. This is basically, we simmered this guy for an hour. Now, what I tried to do, too, is I tried to leave the lines on here, almost like the rings on a tree, right? So you can see how old it is. I wanted you to see kind of where we started. We started up here and then just kind of cooked this down a little bit more to make it thicker. And that's, a little bit heartier soup, but it is still a soup nonetheless. And that's what we like about that. Let's talk.
It's funny. I've never considered myself a soup person.
Yeah?
But this is such a great meal.
Are you a soup person now? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm being converted.
All right. I
I always thought I needed a whole steak, but...
You needed a steak?
This is a all-in-one meal.
Soup is not a bad thing, right?
No, I totally eat this just as a meal.
We did today.
We did.
We did eat this as a meal today. Like, we had a lot of good meals. Hey, let's talk garnishes super quick. What I love, I tell you what, I picked this soup. Tammy asked me, Tammy with the Beef Council was like, how did you pick that recipe? I said, honest, I picked it because I was hungry for soup. And it's interesting because most of these Fridays with beef, I tend to pick something that I'm hungry for. But what I like about this, you've got this beautiful beef enchilada soup, right? And you're kind of sitting there thinking, well, what makes it enchilada, right? That's almost like perfect enchilada filling, but check this out over here. Now, we've got some tortillas. Question.
Tammy would like to know, if you were going to serve a side item with this, what would you do?
Right here. I would serve either, let's say you wanted to serve a cool side with it to make it even better, grilled tortillas. Throw these on your grill and toast them off till you get some char marks on there, grill marks on there. Absolutely fantastic. You could serve cornbread. You could serve cornbread biscuits, cornbread muffins, skillet cornbread. I mean, you could do a lot of cool things. All right, check this out. So our garnish today, pretty simple. We want everything an enchilada has in it for a garnish. So I've got sour cream. You could also use Mexican crema. I've got some cheddar cheese and cheese blend, I should say. But check this out. I did corn tortillas, right? And you want to cut these guys super, super thin. The reason I want to cut them into thin strips, they almost disintegrate and melt into the soup when you cut them thin. And this now, all of a sudden, that tortilla becomes that enchilada flavor you were looking for in the soup.
I was surprised. When I ate this earlier, I thought it was going to be kind of a lot, but you're right. They totally melt right into it.
And they just and that's why you cut them smaller. If you want to cut them bigger, they'll become an ingredient in the soup. Cut them smaller, they become part of the soup. If that makes sense, right? Kind of makes sense. All right, questions. We got any questions? Let's take them while we're waiting for soup to heat up.
Donna's just raving about soups, and like I said, I agree. I'm slowly becoming a soup person.
And if you, I'll tell you, you can go to cobeef.com, grab the recipe for this one today. But if you go to beefitswhatsfordinner.com, type in soup in the recipe search. Oh, man.
So I got a question.
Yes.
What other kind of beans could you use in here?
We've got blacks and kidneys. You could use pintos. You could use Great Northern if you wanted. You could use hominy. I mean, you could take this out and use hominy to give you that crunch, that texture. Beans are limitless, but totally pintos if you wanted. I love the kidneys and the black beans in here. They give it a nice color, and it's it's kind of nice to not have all earth tones in here. You get a little bit of pops of red and pops of the black bean, and same with the corn. But I wish you could smell in here because it smells amazing, right? So it is Friday night. Why don't you tell us, too, in the comments, what other things would you like to see on Friday night with beef? What would you love? We've got December coming up, January, February, all that good stuff. Let us know in the comment section what you would love to see for some Friday nights with beef, and we will work on getting those on the schedule so we make sure we've got some quality stuff coming.
I got another question, too. If you were doing this in a slow cooker, how often would you stir it?
You wouldn't. The beauty of the slow cooker is you just kind of leave it and let it go. Me being me, I may probably go and stir it once or twice, but the beef is already going to be cooked, right? When you put it in the slow cooker, the ground beef's already going to be cooked. So you don't have to worry about raw beef sitting down there. So basically you put the beef on the bottom, you pour everything on top. I will stir it once to combine everything, and then I may stir it once again, just because I want to make sure nothing is like stuck to the bottom. Questions?
Does the sliced up tortillas thicken the soup?
Yes. So what I'm doing, because I cut them so thin, they will kind of melt and help thicken the soup, but give it a beautiful corn flavor, corn finish. So like I said, if you cut the tortilla strips thicker, they become an ingredient that's visible. If you cut them thinner, they melt into the soup and become part of the soup and actually act as a little bit of a thickening agent, which is not a bad way to thicken your soup, right?
Hack.
Giving it a lot of flavor.
I Googled a cow joke earlier. You want to hear it?
Well, I don't know. Do I want to hear it?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
A cow says...
A cow says what?
No, a cow says moo.
Oh, my word. Ladies and gentlemen, we have dad jokes, and this is Adam's last week on the camera. A cow says moo.
We got a request for some beef Wellington sometime in the future.
Oh, so maybe December. Maybe December we can do a classic beef Wellington.
Shucks.
Now, I can pretty much tell you, I will not stop thinking about beef Wellington now and until we make it. Because I used to make that when I was a young little chef, and beef Wellington is like near and dear to my heart.
So what other ratios in ground beef do you typically see in the stores? You're using 80-20, right?
Yeah, there's an 80-20. And remember, when it comes to ground beef, that ratio, 80-20, 93-7, 90-10, that is the amount of beef to fat, right? So when you're cooking a burger, for instance, I tend to stick with 80-20 because as you grill, some of that fat washes out and you lose some of that fat. So you're going to, I normally say you lose about 10% of the fat during the cooking process when you're grilling, roasting, baking, braising, stewing. When you're doing chili, that fat tends to stay in here, and I like a little bit of that mouthfeel. When I'm grilling a burger, 80-20. I don't want to grill a 93-7 because it'll be kind of dry and mealy. And I can absolutely understand when you're doing the chili, that 93-7 is going to leave a little bit less fat on the chili, or on the soup, I mean, but man, I dig a little bit of that.
What I love about this is, it's Friday now?
Yep.
If I already reheat a bowl of this on Sunday afternoon to watch some football, it's probably going to taste just a little bit better. And
then the cool part, you know what I always tell everyone? Check this out. We always tell everyone, here's your recipe, right? But if you go through this, I always make a recipe once just to see like, hey, this is how they made it. But then go through here and think, okay, you know what? They use this ground beef. I might use a different ground beef, or I'm going to try shredded brisket. And just kind of manipulate those recipe items or those ingredients to make it yours. That's the beauty of cooking. Make it once so you know kind of the barometer, so to speak, of what it should taste like. And then get in there and just have fun and play with it and make it your own. Do your own twist on it. I said, this was a slow cooker recipe that we adapted to be a little bit hot and fast on the stovetop, which is great. Imagine this too. You could throw it in your smoker. You could throw it in your charcoal grill and add some of that campfire flavor to it.
Jeremy Glass must be from the South because he just said that would be great over some creamy grits.
Jeremy Glass. Jeremy is one of my chef buddies.
He's a South Carolina guy, maybe?
Jeremy, I think he's from Colorado, I think. He just loves grits, man.
I'm still waiting for my mom to ask.
Did he say where he's from?
No. Jeremy, where are you from?
I think Jeremy's from Colorado. I hope. I mean, I'm going to be embarrassed if he's not. But nice to see you, Chef Jeremy.
Looks great, Jason. We got a comment.
Who's that from?
Michael.
Thanks, Mike. Good. All right, there we go. We're just slowly reheating this, bringing it back up to temperature. And make sure, too, you guys, when you're reheating this, give it a stir just to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom.
Can you use frozen corn, I assume, just like canned corn?
You can use frozen corn. My suggestion on frozen would be to defrost it because it has a lot of liquid in it. And it'll just help you with less cook time, less reducing. But if you're doing this in the crock pot or the slow cooker, absolutely throw that frozen corn in there and let it do its thing.
In my head right now, I'm saying I will not drop the phone.
You will not drop the phone. Or my furry microphone. Hold that. Let me move this guy off here.
Oh, Jeremy was born in Iowa.
I knew I loved him. Iowa.
Field of Dreams.
All right. So we're getting up nice and hot here. That is our goal. We're going to garnish a little bit here. Keep the questions coming. Let me grab a ladle here.
Welcome, Leanne.
All right. Look at that. See it moving around in here, just slowly heating up. I'm pretty sure once this camera turns off tonight, I'm eating more of the soup for dinner. And then we're back here tomorrow, so we might have some for breakfast too, but all right, not too shabby. So let's talk, any questions before we plate this up and garnish? It's quiet. I like it. All right, let's get in here. Get this all going. Load that bowl up, like I said, as much or as little as you want. You could even do, throw it in a mug, throw it in an insulated thing. Come in closer, check this out. Then I'll add those shredded tortillas in there, you guys. Then I'm going to throw a little bit of cheese.
What do you think about adding a little mole?
Yeah, you could totally add mole. You could garnish this even with a little more taco seasoning, too.
I'm curious, we were discussing earlier, who likes cilantro and who doesn't?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, half the world thinks cilantro tastes like soap. The other half the world is right.
Unfortunately, I'm on the
soap part. All right, check that out, though. Look at that. That is a hearty, hearty soup. Garnish world, unlimited. You could put corn chips, right? You could do tortilla chips crushed up in there, make kind of a tortilla chip pie or a corn chip pie. I think you could do a million different things with that.
Diane, excuse me, says this is a great winter soup, and I totally agree.
This is absolutely a great winter soup.
Fall, winter, spring, and even summer probably.
Yeah,
too.
Right. And then don't forget, you guys, please don't forget to leave comments and let us know what you would like to see in the next edition of Friday with Beef. November, we already have planned. So November, we're going to be talking about beef tenderloin on the grill or in the oven, showing you just a great way to stretch your dollar and have a fantastic beef tenderloin. But December, January, February, wide open. So we need your suggestions. What would you like to see? We heard beef Wellington.
Yeah, there was a standing rib roast.
Oh, standing rib roast.
There was a pot roast comment earlier, too.
Pot roast. I love pot roast.
Now
you can see the common theme here, right? I love beef and anything related to beef. So
I loved how when we ate this earlier, it got my nose running just a little bit.
Just a little bit, right? You can tone it down if you want. But all right, you guys. Pretty simple, right? So like I said, once you get all those ingredients like we have here, simmer this guy for about an hour. That's going to help all the flavor meld and blend together, and then you'll get this little bit thicker. And if you like it thinner, cook it less. If you like it thicker, cook it a little bit more. The more or less time you put into the cooking will determine kind of the viscosity or the thickness of that soup. And I'll tell you, like a little bit thicker, it sticks to your bones, sticks to your ribs, and is quite hearty. Don't forget, head over to cobeef.com, Colorado Beef Council website. You can grab today's recipe, check out all of our YouTube videos and more. And then don't forget, that beef locator map is going to tell you where you can find ranchers and producers here in Colorado ready to sell you some amazing Colorado beef for your fridge. Question?
And my mother down in Sarasota would love to see some stuffed flank steak at some point in time.
I just literally watched a TikTok yesterday from one of my buddies doing stuffed flank steak, awesome. And I said to myself, there might be stuffed flank steak in the future. That's a good one. I like that very much. All right, you guys, come in and take a good look at that. That is our soup. Not too shabby, right? That is beef enchilada soup. A good way to spend a little Friday with beef, right? All right, you guys.
Can we eat yet?
We get to eat here real soon. Any last minute questions, comments, hostilities, concerns?
We got a lot of thanks, and we appreciate you guys watching.
You got it. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We appreciate you watching. We will see you in November. So make sure, stay tuned to the Colorado Beef Council Facebook page. Make sure you like their page so you get all those notifications. We've got another Friday with Beef coming up in November. We're talking tenderloin, which is fantastic. Hey, as always, I'm tripped over my own foot there. As always, huge thank you to our ranchers and producers here in Colorado. We appreciate everything you do. You work so hard. I was telling Adam today, who else takes a calf that's cold, that was just birthed, puts it in the cab of their truck, warms it up with a blanket, and spends the entire night with it to make sure that that calf makes it through the night and lives a fantastic time out on their ranch. That's right. Our farmers and ranchers do. So huge thanks to all of our farmers and ranchers. We appreciate what you do. And a big thanks to the Colorado Beef Council for having us Friday night with beef. We will see you in November for another fantastic time.